I've noticed in the past few years that there's been this great resurgence of pride and interest in our Cajun heritage. You see a lot of, especially the flag, right? You see a lot of the Acadian flag all over the place, on stickers, on clothing. It's everywhere. And I want to focus a little bit on the flag, right? That the flag is the identity of a people. And so we have in our Acadian flag the blue, white, and red colors, which show our unity, our connection to France, right? The tricolor flag of France. And on the top right-hand corner, you have the three fleurs-de-lis, which show or pay homage to the kings of France, who instituted the feast day of the Acadians. Then on the bottom right, you have a castle, which shows the influence of Spain on our region. One time, the Spanish had control of South Louisiana. We see that in places like New Iberia, right? The New Iberian Peninsula. And then the most important thing for us as we celebrate this feast day is the gold star that is present in our Acadian flag. That gold star is an image for Mary. We call Mary the star of the sea. She is the one who guides us. She is the light that leads us. And so we pay homage to Our Lady with that gold star in our Acadian flag. And so the point of it all is this, that we can't have a true resurgence of our Cajun culture without a resurgence of our Catholic faith. Right? The Acadians were Catholic. That's the whole reason why we exist down here in South Louisiana. And so it's good, right, that people want to be proud of their heritage. It's good that we want to be united to our ancestors. But to do that completely, we have to practice our Catholic faith. And so I want to speak about three characteristics of the Cajuns that I think tie us and find their fullest expression in our Catholic faith. The first characteristic of the Cajuns is that they love to help people. I think we've seen this in a particular way over the past several years. Whenever there have been floods, you have a group of people who get their boats and they go and help people, right? Called the Cajun Navy. They don't ask for money. They don't ask for attention, right? They don't calculate how much it's going to cost them. They take off of work. They go and they help people who are in need. Right? This is what we do as a people. It's in our blood, right? We had to help each other because we were mostly poor people, right? We had to help each other to get by. And so it's in our blood to help people who are in need without asking, without counting the costs. And I think we see this in a very real way in Our Lady. Like Mary always wants to help others. She doesn't want attention. She doesn't want to be doted on. She simply wants to help others, right? That is her goal. That is her job. Mary only points us to Jesus. In his writing on True Devotion to Mary, Louis de Montfort speaks about how any true devotion to Mary has to increase our love for her Son. If we think we have a devotion to Mary and we don't love Jesus, well, we're doing something wrong. Right? Mary's job is always to point us to Jesus. And so the Cajuns and Our Lady have something in common. And we find, right, the fullest expression of this wanting to help people in the person of Mary. The second characteristic about Cajuns is that they love food. I was at lunch this past Sunday with some friends who came into town for Mass. We had just finished stuffing our faces, and we talked about our favorite restaurants and what meal we like to eat at that particular restaurant. Right? If you think about it, if you pay attention, that's pretty much what we talk about while we eat, right? We talk about the next meal, and we talk about the food we like while we're eating. We love food, and we don't like bad food. Right? I studied with people from all over the United States when I was in seminary, and they had some interesting ideas of food. Right? They had this seasoning called Old Bay, which they thought was just wonderful. It's from the Northeast. They had to doctor up all their food. I said, if you cook it right, you don't need to do that. Right? You'll haven't had good food. Right? So we want good food. And we see this in our faith too, right? Our faith revolves around a meal. Right? Our faith revolves around the Eucharist. It is the bedrock, the foundation of our faith, that Jesus makes himself present, body, blood, soul, and divinity, not just for us to look at, but primarily for us to consume, right? So that we can be transformed by it. And so if we want a true resurgence of our Catholic faith, we need a renewed belief in the Eucharist. Right? The research that came out a couple of weeks ago said that 70% of people who call themselves Catholic do not believe in the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. 70%. This isn't just random people polled. This is people who call themselves Catholic. They don't believe in the true presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. And if we don't believe, then it's easy for us to leave, to go to another faith or to no faith at all. Right? If we don't believe that it's truly Jesus, then what are we doing? If that's not really Jesus, then I'm a fool. Right? This is what I gave my life up for. So we have to have a renewed love of the sacred meal that Christ left us. Right? And renewed love for the Eucharist. And the third characteristic of the Cajuns, which maybe is my favorite, is that we love to celebrate. We love to celebrate. We're looking for any excuse to have a party. Right? My grandpa was Boudreaux from Franklin, made his way to Jeanerette, and that's where my parents grew up. And his favorite saying, I can still hear him saying, is, let's have a party. There's a wonderful picture that hung in his bathroom whenever I was growing up of him. They'd have a tennis tournament at their house. And it was him, and he had sawdust all over him. He just has the biggest smile on his face. Right? We love to celebrate. We love an excuse for a party, for a gathering of people. And our faith fosters this. Right? We come together every single Sunday to celebrate. And to celebrate the most important thing, right? Our salvation. The fact that Christ rose from the dead. Father Champagne, whenever he was promoting the fete that's going on right now, that I'll go to meet whenever I'm finished, Father Champagne was saying that for this to be a holiday, and for any holiday to be a holiday, it has to be a holy day. That's where the word comes from. Right? A holy day of obligation is a holiday. It's a day where we take a break from our regular, everyday concerns, and we think about higher things. And we should rejoice. Right? We should make this day different somehow. Doesn't have to be the biggest celebration, although it could be. Right? What I'm going to do is on my way back from the fete, I'm going to stop and get some ice cream. Right? Just something out of the ordinary to remind myself that this is a different day and that I should celebrate. Right? Maybe I'll cook myself a nice meal too. We'll see. I might be too tired by the time I get back. But we need to celebrate well the feasts of our faith. And so we are certainly heirs down here in South Louisiana to something incredibly special. Right? People that come down here notice that there is something different about South Louisiana than anywhere else in the country, probably even in the world. Right? That we are a unique people. And it's because of our festivals, it's because of our strange food, right? We eat alligator and all this stuff. But primarily it's because of our faith. And so we ask our patroness, right, Our Lady of the Assumption, today as we celebrate her feast day, to intercede for us, that the faith would be strong in us, so that our Cajun and our Catholic culture can carry on.